Apple is a brand that is well known all over the globe because of the revolutionary technology that it has developed, which has completely changed the landscape of the personal electronics industry. Apple has consistently been at the forefront of technical breakthroughs, from the time it reshaped the personal computer in the 1980s to the time it dominated the market for smartphones with the introduction of products like the iPhone. With that being said, it has evolved into more than simply a consumer technology corporation. As a company, Apple is committed to improving the lives of its consumers and offering them something that goes beyond only a product, but rather an experience. Given the success of the iPhone, it is clear that Apple intends to achieve the same level of success in the car sector. In recent years, a project that was initially nothing more than whispers and conjecture has started to gain pace, and it now seems that a release is anticipated to take place in the years to come. Thus, keep watching this video to see the new Apple iCar that shocked the entire car world. From the iPhone to the iCar. Throughout its history, Apple has developed into one of the most successful corporations in the world, with one of the most devoted client groups of any company. As early as 2008, there were reports that the corporation was considering expanding into the automobile industry, despite the fact that it has consistently performed very well in the technology sector year after year. Although it was a reach for Steve Jobs and the firm at the time, since they were already working on producing cutting-edge cell phones, the concept was never totally abandoned, and there remained a potential that it may be implemented in the future. The year 2014 saw the beginning of Apple's Project Titan project, which was the company's effort to create an electric vehicle that was capable of driving itself. Apple began this effort at a covert site close to the offices of the firm in Cupertino, California, where it recruited more than 1,000 automobile specialists and engineers, some of whom had previously worked for Tesla. The first version of their idea called for the creation of a completely autonomous vehicle that would not have a steering wheel or pedals, and would have a seating configuration that would face inwards, enabling passengers to hold discussions with one another face to face. On the other hand, it turned out that its plans were too ambitious, and it was decided to scale down to a vehicle design that was more conventional. As Apple informants say, it will be necessary for the driver to operate it manually on city streets, but there will be an option for the vehicle to operate autonomously on highways. For the purpose of enabling the vehicle to drive itself on highways, LiDAR sensors, cameras, and radar sensors will be included inside the vehicle. In addition, in 2017, Apple was awarded permission by the California Department of Motor Vehicles to test its autonomous driving technology. It was observed that the streets of San Francisco were filled with Lexus RX 450h SUVs from the year 2015, which were fitted with cameras and sensors all over the body of the vehicle. Apple CEO Tim Cook has verified the speculations that have been circulating regarding the company's intention to create software for autonomous driving. In spite of the fact that the corporation has not disclosed a great deal of information about the automobile, it is planning to debut it by the year 2026 at a price range that is lower than $100,000. Because of the tight-knit nature of the project, many individuals are skeptical about the possibility that the delivery of the vehicle will be delayed until a later time. Driving Apple's electric car, a look behind the wheel. Although the majority of information on the iCar has not yet been made public, it is known that the automobile will be completely linked with Apple's other products. With iOS systems, customers will be able to unlock and start the car using their Apple devices. Additionally, they will be able to use voice commands to accomplish operations like as making phone calls, sending texts, connecting to GPS, and more. John Gianandrea, who is in charge of artificial intelligence and machine learning at Apple, was given the responsibility of leading the initiative to produce an Apple CPU that has 4 times the power of 4 Mac chips combined. Along with the LiDAR sensors and cameras, this will make it possible for the vehicle to have self-driving capabilities that are superior to those offered by other manufacturers, such as Tesla. The electric battery that will be used in the iCar is yet another innovation that will radically change the industry. An innovative monocell design is currently being developed by Apple. This design will eliminate any unnecessary space inside the battery and bring the individual cells closer together. This will make it possible to pack more charge into a smaller packaging, which will result in a significant reduction in the cost of batteries. Also, it is anticipated that Apple's well-known chic and sophisticated designs from their technological products would be carried over into interior design. A huge display in the center of the dashboard that is reminiscent of an iPad and camera technology that enables operations to be controlled by hand gestures are just 2 of the elements that the firm that is worth $1 trillion intends to include in its car. Considering that Apple employs some of the most brilliant brains in the world, this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what the automobile is capable of offering once it is released. There are a few partnerships that are currently in the works. There is no question that Apple has the financial resources necessary to make an iCar a reality. To compete with the industrial giants that are now in place, however, cooperation is absolutely necessary. The Apple Corporation has gone out to a number of existing automobile manufacturers in an effort to form a collaboration with them in order to mass build an Apple automobile. Due to the fact that Hyundai's subsidiary Kia would make it possible for Apple automobiles to be manufactured in the United States, Apple has temporarily halted discussions with the Korean automakers. Initially, it was speculated that Apple was contemplating forming a partnership with Hyundai. However, Apple was dissatisfied with Hyundai's decision to end contract negotiations after the company disclosed that it had been in conversations with the Apple vehicle. Additionally, they attempted to contact Nissan, but owing to internal differences, the ideas were never able to reach the higher executive levels. On the other hand, LG Electronics' joint venture with Magna seems to be very near to signing contracts with Apple to produce its electric automobile. Because Apple is likely to utilize its first generation as a test run to assess whether or not it will be successful, LG Magna e-Powertrain's manufacturing of Apple automobiles is anticipated to be quite limited. There is a feeling of urgency if there is going to be any hope of a release in this decade, although there are no contracts in place between Apple and the existing vehicle manufacturers at the moment. Project Titan has been responsible for the hiring and firing of hundreds of workers over the course of the previous couple of years, owing to internal friction amongst management officials. If Apple continues to pursue the goal of mass manufacturing by the year 2026, the company is planning to restructure and complete the work of its automobile team over the next 6 months. The fact that Apple has been so secretive about the iCar has left a lot of opportunity for conjecture, but there is one thing that is still real. Apple has often shown that it is capable of manufacturing items that might significantly impact the lives of its customers and make their lives much better. Because they are able to combine their own Apple devices with the car, there are no restrictions placed on the technologies that are considered to be revolutionary, such as face recognition or Siri. Within the next several years, the automobile industry is likely to undergo a transformation that will be irreversible if Apple is successful in prioritizing its efforts in the electric vehicle sector. Since a few years ago, we have been aware that Apple intends to enter the automobile business with their very own vehicle. Nevertheless, the process of constructing a car from the ground up is an extremely difficult endeavor. In terms of technological equipment, it must also be far more advanced than its rivals. As soon as you include the elements of comfort, safety, and dependability into this equation, it becomes immediately apparent why they have been having such a difficult time with the so-called iCar. And that wraps things up. We appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Please hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one.